Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Good to be back after a little bit of time off. Welcome to the first Thriving Thursday of 2021. I hope that you all had a chance to rest for a bit and to just kind of be and enjoy, hopefully, enjoy some time off. And I hope that, I'm not going to say that you've had a productive week because it's only the first week, but rather I hope that you've had an easeful transition back into your work routine, whatever routine it is that you have now post holiday. If you are here joining me live, please drop me a note. I'd love to say hi. If you're joining me later on, if you're watching the recording, hello to you and thank you so much for being here. A little bit of an introduction if you haven't joined before. I'm Carla. I'm a former management consultant turned full-time RV nomad turned entrepreneur and turned life and career coach. And on Thriving Thursdays, I broadcast from wherever our little casita, our little tiny home on wheels takes us. Today we are in West Texas, riding out the winter, and I share stories from the road on how to help you live your someday now, on better living and career empowerment. And I normally broadcast just to Facebook, but it's a new year, so new expansion. I'm also broadcasting to YouTube, and I'll be posting the replay on LinkedIn. So trying to spread out my wings a little bit. I have an interesting story to share with you all today, and some of you may have already heard it if you are part of my email community. But this story inspired really what I'd like to cover with you all, which is about finding joy in the present moment. So you may not believe this, but exactly a week ago, on December 31st, 2020, I made my first snowman, which is kind of hard to believe. I'm 36 years old and I've never made a snowman before, but I did go to the school in the Northeast. I should have made a snowman probably, and I realize now that maybe I was too cold or too serious. I don't know. But yeah, the truth of the matter is I'd never made one. And so last week, for the first time, I made one at age 36 on December 31st. And what's interesting about this is that I made the snowman in the middle of the Texas desert, which, if you think about it, is a little bit nuts, right? Not the place that you would expect to make a snowman. My husband and I were camping out in Big Bend National Park, which is really on the border with Mexico. And last week, we received 2 feet of snow, which is the most that the area has received in the last 30 years, at least according to a ranger that we overheard. So though we had planned to spend the last day of 2020 hiking and doing all these things, we instead spent the day snowed in our little camper. The area lost power for 2 days. We didn't have internet. The roads closed down, so we had nowhere to go, nowhere to talk, nobody to talk to, no one to call, nothing to do really. And suddenly, all the plans that we had for ourselves for that, how we were going to spend that last day, went out the window. And what I realized as the snow was coming down really hard was that that's really just how life is, right? And certainly that's how last year was. I love saying that. It was last year already. We make plans and we're focused on those plans, and we think that we're in control of what it is that we're going to do, only to realize that we're not. And when we realize that we're not in control of the future, we have two options in how we respond. We either are upset or angry, which is perfectly natural. We all feel that. Or we can choose to let go of the need to control and simply find joy in the new moment that is in front of us. And making a snowman for me was exactly that. It was playful, it was fun, it was a really unexpected yet lighthearted way to end a very challenging year. And so while as I was ending last year, I was thinking a lot about productivity and all these things that I was going to do. I found that exercise, that making a snowman, really was a reminder to also just take time to be here now and to not always be chasing that next thing, but really just be in the present moment and allow myself to do that more in 2021 versus only plan for all the things that I need to do. So that's what I want to talk a little bit more about today and encourage us all to really think about how can we be more present in the moment. And why is that important? When we create and we sustain being present in the moment, that's when we can really show up fully in our lives. So when I was making that snowman, I wasn't thinking about what I'd done the past week. I wasn't thinking about the first week of the year and everything that I had to do, that I wanted to do. I was really focused on the task at hand. I was fully present in finding a nose for the snowman and finding a scarf and making sure that the balls were round enough. I was really enjoying what I was doing. And so when we're present in the moment, we're free from distraction about thinking about the past, thinking about the future. That allows our critical minds to quiet down, at least for a few minutes, our analytical minds, that chatter that we have that might be telling us things that we may not want to hear. And it allows us to simply start to tap into our intuition and to start to trust that we have what we need in order to be who we need to be in the moment right now. So, how do you know whether you are present in the moment? So, when you're present, you're like I shared when I was making the snowman, I wasn't worried about the past, right? I wasn't worried about what was coming. If you're living in the past or the future, you are not living in the present moment. And when you are living in the present moment, you have full energy to show up, right? You have your full energy available to you right here and right now. So I wanted to bring a couple of ideas and a little bit of food for thought for simple ways that we can create more presence in very mundane things that we do in our daily lives. Okay, so the first one is when we're running errands, right? We all run errands. Maybe it's grocery shopping. Are you finding the opportunity to enjoy the experience? Or are you simply running about your errands, looking to just cross them off your to do list, right? Which one is it? Even mundane activities like running errands can offer us opportunities to just slow down and find joy in the little things. So, next time you're driving out to get things done, you might try becoming more present by maybe rolling down the window, taking the deepest breath of air that you've taken all day. And when you're at the grocery store, pretend that you're a child and just observe what's around you. I often find myself in awe of the fruit and vegetable section, which is kind of silly. But I look around me, I'm like, man, like the colors are so vibrant. And gosh, so much work must have gone into making sure that all the piles are orderly and that the fruit isn't falling down from the bins, right? And those are moments that I think back now where I was really present. I wasn't just jumping into getting my apples. I really was stopping and just assessing and becoming aware of what was around me. Something as simple as looking at the fruits and vegetables, which are really beautiful at grocery stores, is a really simple way to simply pause and to connect to the moment that you're in right there right now. So that's one simple thing that I just wanted to suggest. It's easy. I've done it and it's marvelous. Just to go to the grocery store and make time to observe the colors, observe the shapes, observe what's around you. That's a really easy way to become present. Another tactic that I'll share is, when you sit down to eat, do you just eat to finish what's on your plate and move on? Or do you really take time to savor each bite and eat slowly and eat consciously? I know I used to eat my lunch. I really try not to do that anymore, but I used to very much eat my lunch while I was working, right? I'm sure many of us do that. And I really can't even tell you what I would eat. Many times I don't even remember what was the food in front of me, or how often do we eat, especially back when in the day when many of us were commuting, we eat while we're driving or we eat while we're watching TV. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. Sometimes that's just what we need to do. But how can we begin to take this very mundane task of eating and make it into an experience? I know my husband has boasted about how once he got a chance to judge barbecue back when he was in Lubbock in Texas. And I'm sure that he didn't just jump in and start scarfing the food down. I'm sure he had to take very mindful bites of every barbecue that he was judging and really enjoy it and really savor it and really figure out what are the flavors and which flavor do I like more? Which one do I like less? And so you may want to create a little bit more presence in this very mundane task of eating by pretending that you are judging the food. Maybe it's the best sandwich that you're judging, the best salad, the best soup, whatever it is, and simply pause and eat and notice the texture, notice the flavors, notice the smell, really engage your senses in in experiencing the food, right? Food is meant to be enjoyed. It's not meant to be scarfed down. And we do that sometimes on, probably more often on the weekends or at night. Sometimes during our workday, we don't give ourselves the time to do that. So that's a easy way to incorporate a little bit more mindfulness, more presence in a very common moment that we all share. Okay, so that's the second one. The third thing that I wanted to share is not necessarily a tip; it's more food for thought. And my question is, when you think about the journey that you're on, maybe it's your professional life, maybe at work, maybe like me, you are building a professional business, your own company, maybe you're in school, whatever it is that your journey is, what percentage of time do you spend really enjoying the different parts of that experience versus just going at it like it's just a mundane task, a mundane set of tasks? And I was thinking about this a lot after I had a coaching conversation with a client of mine yesterday. We were talking about how many of us, myself included, we have this concept of there. When I get there, when I achieve this, when I have this prize, when I lose this weight, when I get that job. And what this mindset starts to do for us is that it creates a sense of lack in the now, right? We feel that something is missing right now, which can create anxiety and it can create frustration with our current situation. And what it also does, it steals from your energy, right? We talked about energy, being present in the moment, you have your full energy. But if you are thinking about when I get there, you're you have to now start sharing your present energy with the future, a future that is not yet here, a future that is not in your control. And ironically, when we stop thinking about the there, we can reclaim our energy in order to be here now and be our best and ultimately achieve those goals that are in the future, right? So those are just a few questions, a few very simple tactics that I was thinking about that might help to start to create a little bit more presence in the moment. Certainly, I'm trying to do that more as I start the new year. I don't want to just jump in and do, but I want to just take a breather, just take a moment to really appreciate the moment that I'm in, really treasure the energy within me, right? Like when I was making the snowman, I remember thinking like, this is cool. I'm not thinking about all these things like, this is cool and I'm just making a snowman. It's fun. So I hope that that's helpful, and one last thought that I'll leave you with is that when we're present in the moment, that's when we're actually truly fearless. And we're fearless because we're allowing ourselves to stop worrying. We're allowing ourselves to know and acknowledge that we can control the past and we can control the future. And that takes courage, right? To simply let go and trust that when the time comes, when the future comes, the tools that we need will become available to us. And for now, we don't need to worry about it. We simply can be here and now. So I hope that this was helpful. I wish you not only a productive rest of your week, but more importantly, I hope that you find calm and can feel connected to the present so you can find joy in even the smallest of moments. Happy Thriving Thursday. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye.